Howdy, partners. Welcome to Red Dead Redemption Part 1 here on Chronochord Gaming as we find ourselves disembarking from the Morning Star Ferry here in Blackwater. I am C-Dub, going to be joined here by my co-host, JC, as we see one of these vehicles actually come ashore and put here on land. It's one of the very few vehicles we're going to see in this game, JC. And it looks like our main character here is being accompanied by some kind of men. They look important. I think I might have saw some badges there. Could these be lawmen?
Hey, what's up, C-Dub? Yeah, that would be a great guess. These guys look like federal marshals of some type, leading our protagonist down the streets of Blackwater. Not sure where they are leading him. Hopefully not to the gallows pole or anything. Kind of have an eerie feeling about what could happen here. Obviously he is under arrest and under their supervision. As you can see right there, he kind of shrugged off the older marshal. Something's not right here.
No, definitely not. Hopefully these guys aren't going to take us, as you said, to the gallows. No, it looks like we're at the train station here in Blackwater. These men have sent us aboard the train. It seems like we're going to be taking off and heading elsewhere as we see the title screen of this game, Red Dead Redemption. Guys, this is one of the best games on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Rockstar, of course, made this game, Rockstar San Diego. These guys did an excellent job of all of their research in this game. These guys were absolutely meticulous in researching everything from the landscapes to the wildlife, the architecture. Even as you can see here, these old ladies here, their clothing style. Everything is very period accurate, JC, and it really, really sets the tone for this game.
Yeah, it does, Corey. Here we have our main character riding on the train and listening to these old ladies behind him talk about God knows what. We're not sure exactly where he is heading right now. All we know is that he is on a mission for those government agents. Sometimes it doesn't seem that important to watch these introductions and the credits at the beginning of a game. But for Red Dead Redemption, I think it is important because it does a great job of subtly introducing characters that we will encounter later on in the playthrough.
Certainly. Rockstar is a game developing company who has used a lot of foreshadowing in the past in games, other titles that they've made. Guys, if you're one of the people out there who have not played this game, make sure to go out there and get it. We're not going to do any spoilers here in these videos as we play along. Go out there and purchase it and play along with us. Now, JC, I'd like to pose a question to you. Are there any westerns or television shows or any other types of media that remind you of Red Dead Redemption and vice versa? Because I know both of us are pretty big fans of westerns.
I really see this as a combination of some movies and a TV show. The TV show being Deadwood, which was on HBO almost 10 years ago now. It's a very real and gritty western that unfortunately it only ran for 3 seasons, which kind of sucked because it was a great show. On the movie front, I'm feeling a lot of resemblances to the Clint Eastwood Man with No Name trilogy, and also some of his later westerns, including High Plains Drifter and Pale Rider, and the outlaw Josie Wales as well. Also a more modern classic and personal favorite of both of ours is Tombstone, which features Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer in some of their best roles.
Yeah, definitely. That's on my top 3, maybe. I mean, it might even be my favorite movie of all time. Honestly, just basically depending on what day you ask me, it changes. As we see here, more of these folks, we're getting to get a little bit more privy to their conversations. We can certainly see that our main character here is certainly the strong, silent type. He likes to sit back and listen and take everything in. Those are some pretty gnarly looking scars he has there.
Yeah, he's looking a little worse for the wear. Obviously been in some fights and other dangerous situations in his time. Well, it looks like we have arrived at our destination, Armadillo Station. Now that I'm in control of our main character here, we're going to walk into town and see what our first objective will be. It looks like it's time to head over to the saloon.
Here we go. Let's take off into the saloon, perhaps get ourselves a refreshing beverage. It's been a long trip aboard the train. That looks like the saloon right there. All right. Oh,
There's a drunkard.
oh man. This guy looks like he's had a few a few too many refreshing beverages. He's taken a spill.
Where's the whiskey?
He seemed to recover. Let's go ahead and enter this saloon here and see what we find. Marston.
This fellow over here is definitely looking for us. Looks like an old prospector or something, carousing with the entertainment.
Aha. His name is Jake, and we have found out that our name is none other than John Marston. And it looks like Jake here, who could be a liaison of those government men that we saw earlier who sent us here. Looks like he's got some horses saddled up out front, and we're gonna hop on them and head to our destination, Fort Mercer.
This guy looks a little shady, but for now we're gonna have to trust him. We have a mission to complete, and this might be life or death. No time to horse around and drink it up at the saloon.
No, not yet. And it looks like we're gonna have to wait just a moment. We've got a train, a nice big locomotive right in front of us. Certainly at this time, right around the turn of the century in America, the train was one of the most efficient and fastest modes of transport. But in this case, we're gonna have to be riding on the horseback, and this ride with Jake is gonna teach us some of the mechanics of the gameplay of riding on the horse.
Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to drive a car or conduct a train or anything in this game for that matter, so the horse will be our most efficient means of transportation throughout our playthrough. And right now they're giving us some pointers in the tutorial about how to control our horse. You've got to watch the stamina meter there and make sure the horse doesn't buck you off if it's low on energy. And also, you are able to hold down the A button and follow along with the people in your party. Certainly makes riding along with these guys a lot easier during the dialogue scenarios.
Yeah, definitely. We are going to be seeing a lot of horseback gameplay in this game. A lot of traveling to and from destinations that are pretty far off and take a lot of real time to get there. There are a lot of other methods we're going to be able to use of fast travel in this game. And also, guys, we're not going to always include riding on horseback and traveling from one destination to another unless it is crucial to the mission. Jake here has a lot to say, huh, JC?
He's just making some small talk with John here, inquiring about John's interest in the ladies of Armadillo, and we find out he is married, so that is interesting to know. I will say that this is a really good job by Rockstar here with the language and the vocabulary of the characters in the game. They seem so realistic and very true to the time period, which is essentially the end of the Old West.
Yeah, it was. This was, of course, this game based right around the turn of the century. Perhaps education wasn't quite as important during these days, and it wasn't quite as important to be well spoken as it was to be a great shot and handy with a gun. And we have reached the fork in the trail here. We're going to take off to the left.
Yeah, this Jake, he's asking a lot of questions and John is not liking it. This mission is shrouded with secrecy. All we know is that we are heading to Fort Mercer, and what awaits us there, we do not know. Now, here they are showing us how to focus on people or items, objects, while you're on your horse. Sometimes it's useful, sometimes it makes you go in a big loop there like it did for me.
Definitely. We're going to have to watch out, though, because it looks like something mauled that thing. Aha! Looks like we have arrived at Fort Mercer. Or what's left of it, at least, Jake says.
Here we are. The place looks kind of empty, but I have a feeling that trouble is just around the corner. Let's see how John's going to approach this as Jake departs our company.
Yeah, Jake wants no part of Fort Mercer. This place is certainly trouble. It looks like John Marston knows it, as he's going to have to approach Fort Mercer slowly and carefully.
Yeah, it would be wise to take it slow. There might be some snipers or gunmen on the lookout in the fort. You never know. Let's see what happens next.
Candygram for Mongo.
Looks like no one's home. Maybe we should knock on the door.
Bill. Where the hell is Bill?
It's calling him out.
Bill Williamson. Come out here right meow.
That sounds familiar, Corey. We saw the young paperboy at the very beginning of the game. Extra, extra, read all about it, Bill Williamson. And here he is. We found him.
Uh-oh. Looks like John Marston has found himself on the wrong end of Bill Williamson's firearm here. Looks like these two guys have some kind of history with one another, as Marston has said he was like his brother.
These two fellas seem very familiar with each other, and not very friendly either. My guess is that they were former outlaws together, bank robbers maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. It looks like Marston is now perhaps on the right side of the law. And maybe that's why those marshals sent him here. But now, no matter what side of the law he's on, he's now found himself on the wrong side of 3, not just 1, 3 rifles here. This doesn't look good, as Bill Williamson, who, as we talked about earlier, education wasn't a big factor here. He's certainly not happy with John Marston's fancy words like implore.
There is no love lost between these two guys. My guess is that he betrayed John at some point in the past. We don't know yet. He just does not seem like the type of guy who's going to lay down his weapons in any kind of deal for law enforcement.
I don't believe so. This is not going to end well. Someone is going to walk away from this, and someone is not going to walk away from this. Oh! And it looks like we found out who that's going to be. We are dead. Poor John.
Not looking good for John here, Corey. Those gut shots, they can get nasty real quick, lead to infection and the like, especially if he's laying out there in the elements like that. And now we have 2 people approaching John as he's laying there dying. Let's see if they can give him the medical attention he needs.
Thankfully, at the very least, they have chased off the buzzards, these 2 good Samaritans. Looks like they're picking up our would-be carcass. It looks like they're going to give us a ride, get us the heck away from Fort Mercer. Maybe we're going to survive after all.
The female rescuer looks pretty familiar from the train ride earlier during the credits, I believe. You've got to wonder what she's doing out here with her ranch hand around this dangerous Fort Mercer. It's got a bad reputation. She should probably know better. But in any case, this is perfect timing for John, and he was luckily rescued.
He has some new friends. But as we just saw, still some old problems. That is going to be a common occurrence and a theme throughout the game here. Our rescuer has come to check on us, and we are alive, or so it would seem.
John's lucky he survived a gunshot like that. If she would not have found him, he would be dead and, like you mentioned, getting pecked by the buzzards out there. He must have had a few days of R&R here on her ranch, and now that he's recovering, let's hope he can get back to full strength and get back out there and try to face Bill Williamson one more time.
Whoa, I just saw this rescuer of ours mention that it cost a whopping $15 to save our life. Holy cow, how are we ever going to repay her $15, such a staggering fee? Certainly a hefty toll we're going to have to pay her. Aha, Miss Bonnie McFarlane is her name.
I wonder how we will have to pay back Miss McFarlane for her kindness in rescuing John. It looks like his road to redemption will probably begin with some small-time work around her ranch. I mean, you've really got to start small in these games and work your way up. You're not just going to go guns a-blazing into town right away. And you've got to figure that it's also part of the continued tutorial. They're going to start incorporating more of the standard gameplay into the storyline here, and not force you to play a separate tutorial aside from the storyline, which I'm not a big fan of in other games.
I'm not either. Rockstar always does a great job of incorporating the tutorial aspects of a game into the early portions of the story, making it a seamless transition. It looks like John Marston has his hat, he has his pistols, he has a bandolier. We're gonna have to get out here and start paying back Miss McFarlane ASAP. Sounds like she has a few jobs that she's gonna be able to put us to work for. We may have to learn some new tasks, new abilities. Maybe we'll find some more weaponry, perhaps. But folks, it's gonna have to wait till next time. Thank you so much for saddling up and joining us here on part 1 of our Red Dead Redemption playthrough on Chronochord Gaming. Please go ahead and check out chronochord.com. Listen to some of our original instrumental music. For my co-host, JC, this is C-Dub. Happy trails to you.